return to dear old Abominable Manor, where last time Boris Badenov made a startling discovery.
You mean I don't got to kill Moose?
Of course not. We'll still get the £1,000,000 note if we can take a picture of him outside the house.
Yes, according to the will, he must not leave Abominable Manor for 1 week.
The week was almost up, but so was Bullwinkle's dander.
I tell you, Rock, if I don't get some air, I'll go stale.
Better not, Bullwinkle.
With that, Rocky left to take a nap. That's when Boris came in.
Boy, oh boy, he's last quarter with only 2 seconds left to play, and we behind 6 points.
Never fear, Canute. I shall score us a touchdown.
Good, Moose. Here, take Pigskin and go over goal line.
But the goal line Boris referred to was outside Abominable Manor, where Natasha waited with a camera.
I take picture of moose suitable for framing, and job is done.
Bullwinkle set sail for the open door, and it looked like the end, but only of our last episode, for the commotion downstairs had arrested the attention of our staunch hero.
Stop, Bullwinkle, you're heading for the door.
But the game had to be won, and Bullwinkle plummeted onward. That's when Rocky took off from the balcony and pulled a triple reverse, taking the football away, tripping Bullwinkle, who got only as far as the welcome mat, and scoring the deciding touchdown.
We won! Well, Boris, all I got was photo of flying squirrel.
You got off easy, Natasha. I bet another team. I got bad idea.
You mean good idea.
You know me, I don't got nothing good. Here is last-ditch plan.
That night, on the roof of Abominable Manor, Boris and Natasha burned the midnight oil. And when daylight finally dawned...
Well, how do you like it?
It's beautiful. What is it?
It's rocket ship. Moose will follow Squirrel anywhere, right?
It's plausible.
So, we get Squirrel inside rocket, Moose follows, we send rocket to moon, no more Squirrel, no more Moose, no more failure.
Boris, you are Dracula of cartoon industry.
The day passed by, as days often will do, and that evening over dinner...
You know what day this is, Bullwinkle?
Guy Fawkes Day?
No, it's your last day inside Abominable Manor.
He ain't kidding.
When the clock strikes midnight, the lawyer will arrive with your £1,000,000 note. You'll be rich.
Not if Boris can help it.
Here is dessert, gentlemen. Nice hot soup.
A butler? Where did you come from?
And what's with soup for dessert? I usually get salad.
Fair enough. You get salad, Squirrel gets soup.
But that's no ordinary soup. It contains knockout drops.
Say, this is pretty good. How's your salad?
Well, the ptomaine lettuce is a trifle wilted. I said, how about that? He's asleep.
With the butler showing the way, Bullwinkle carried Rocky to the threshold of the rocket ship.
That's a very odd bedroom there.
Easily this thing. Go ahead, take Squirrel inside.
And once inside, Boris quickly slammed the door.
The fools fell for it.
Quick, Boris. Pull lever and blast rocket off. It's almost midnight.
Yes, the clock was just beginning to strike, and there, coming up the walk, was the crankcase lawyer.
Pull lever, darling. What you waiting for?
I got strange feeling something is going to happen.
Something did. The rocket door suddenly opened.
Sleep tight, Rock.
Hey, where you think you're going?
Well, I haven't finished my salad.
Now what?
Now this.
Will the rocket blast off? Don't miss. The scheme misfires, or you can plan it better than that.
And now it's time...
Time for that jolly juggler, Bullwinkle.
Oh, dear.
3 at once. 1, 2.
And now here's a feature you're sure to like.
Well, Junior, looks like Christmas came a little early this year.
Oh, I didn't get this stuff from Santa Claus, Pop. I won it off the kids in the neighborhood.
You won it?
Yeah, we flipped for it.
You mean you gambled?
Well, no, not exactly. You see, I remembered one of your adages, and I came out winning every time.
You didn't use a dishonest coin.
Sure I did. You once said, 2 heads are better than 1. So I got this 2-headed nickel here, and...
Yeah, now, I insist that you return this ill-gotten booty right away. The very idea, Junior. When I said 2 heads are better than 1, I didn't mean to apply it the way you did.
What did you mean?
Well, take the fable of the centipede and the snail. Every year, the animals and other creatures of the forest would meet in a race to determine who was the fastest of them all. Of course, the results were usually the same. The hare not only won, but he crossed the finish line before the slower fellows even got started.
How do you like that? Last again.
You know something? I'm getting sick and tired of being a laughing stock.
Me too. I'll tell you what. Let's you and me put our little slimy heads together and see if we can win this thing next year.
It seemed like a good idea, so they went into immediate training.
Look, one of us will be the trainer while the other one does the running. Fair enough?
Yeah, suits me.
This was to be determined by clocking each other's speed in a 3-yard race.
Well, how'd I do?
Not bad at all. You ran 3 yards in 3 hours.
And now it was the snail's turn, and he was certain he could beat the centipede's time. 3 days later, he completed his run.
3 yards in 3 days. Not too good.
Well, if I hadn't hit that red light...
Thus, the snail became the trainer and the centipede the runner.
Now, the first thing we got to do is put you on a diet.
Hey, I got an idea. Why do not I eat the same food rabbits eat? If it makes them fast, it'll make me fast.
Okay, go eat some carrots.
Carrots?
Carrots.
Now, this centipede wasn't too bright, and the only carrots he knew of were the ones stamped on the inside of an old ring.
What in the world are you doing?
I'm eating carrots. 14 of them to be exact.
Not that kind of carrots. What's it taste like?
Pretty good. Have some.
On the day after they were released from the hospital, the boys went back to work.
Here, now, hold on to this rocket.
Am I going to eat it?
Don't be silly. I'm going to light it, and it'll take off with you holding on to it. That'll give you some idea of what high speed is like.
You certain I cannot eat it?
You can eat it later. Now, hold on.
I'm really moving, ain't I?
Something's wrong. Must be a dud. Here, let me see it.
Gee, that's some rocket.
Yeah, let's eat it.
The day after they got out of the hospital, they quietly entered a farmer's watermelon patch.
Now, we just got to make you run fast. Look, if you were to grab a melon and the farmer aimed his shotgun at you, would you be scared?
Of the melon?
Of the farmer.
You darn right I would.
And what would you do?
I'd eat the melon.
No, you simpleton, you'd run.
That's what I'd do. I'd run.
Yes, right, and you'd probably run faster than you've ever run before. Okay, grab a melon.
Okay. Uh-oh. Shoelace is untied. Here, hold this. Hey, you don't look too good.
You don't feel too good.
What are you doing up here?
We're gonna try the high speed bit again. You jump off this cliff, right?
Right.
That will give you the illusion of high speed. Okay, jump.
How do you jump?
Well, you just jump.
I do not know how to jump.
Look, you place both feet, all your feet firmly on the ground like this, and then you crouch like this, and then you just jump.
Like how?
Like this.
Oh, now I get it.
The day of the race finally dawned, and the centipede took his place alongside of the hare. However, when the starting gun sounded, the centipede took off in the opposite direction and joined his trainer behind a tree.
Quick, get into this basket.
Yes, the snail and the centipede had given birth to a unique idea. A balloon carried the centipede aloft, where a stiff breeze took it and sent it soaring over the finish line just ahead of the shocked hare. Unfortunately, the centipede just kept on going and was never heard of again. So you see, son, that is the true application of 2 heads are better than 1.
I get it, Pop.
Where are you going, Junior?
I'm going to return this stuff and destroy the 2-headed nickel.
Yes, but you usually have a moral of your own to inject here.
I do. Don't put all your legs in one basket.
Don't put all your... Oh, that's my boy, Junior.
And now, here's that super salesman, Mr. Know-It-All.
Thanks, Brock, but I'm not selling supers, I'm selling soap.
So sell.
Hello, friends. Today we take up the problem of selling these here soap flakes. The best way is to cleverly disguise yourself as a washer repair man. Hello, kindly sir. Is the lady of the house in?
Oh, so it's you who's been bringing her those boxes of candy.
No, hold it, King's X! I'm the washer repairman, here to fix the washer.
I didn't know it was broken.
Now listen carefully to how cleverly I rouse his interest. Of course it's broken. It's clogged up due to ordinary wash-day soaps that produce too much suds.
So fix it.
Oh!
Let me know when you're finished.
You see how I've roused his interest? You see, sir, suds from other wash-day products aren't made for your washer. That's why the makers of over 1 leading washer recommend...
Is the washer fixed?
No, but sir, let me tell you why this soap...
Soap, schmope, fix the machine.
The essential thing to remember when you're selling soap is often the buyer merely wants to test your salesmanship abilities.
Is it finished? You fixed the washer?
The reason your washer is clogged, sir, is those thick suds. That's why the makers of over 1 leading washer... Oop!
Gosh, Mr. Know-It-All, what happened?
The washer's still clogged up.
Too much soap?
Nope, too much me.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But that trick never worked.
This time for sure. Presto! Well, I'm getting close.
And now it's time for another special feature.
Crime Wave, a hairstyle worn by Canadian criminals in the early 1900s. And here is where that hairstyle was first introduced, behind the stark gray walls of Elevenworth Prison.
Well, Warden, we found another one.
You're kidding.
Take a look out that window.
There in the center of the main yard sat a submarine.
That makes the 4th this month.
You gotta put a stop to it, Warden. You gotta catch the cons or...
Why? Burn it like we did the others.
But although the guards drenched the sub with kerosene, it would not ignite.
Strike a match and see if that'll do it.
This, too, proved futile. And no wonder this particular sub was constructed of asbestos.
They've given up, boss. They're gonna let it sit there.
Good. Now all we have to do is wait for the monsoon season. The yard will fill up with water. We'll climb inside the sub and float out over the wall.
The man who just said that is Snidely Whiplash.
They claim the only man to ever escape this foul edifice broke out in a rash. Well, Whiplash will show them. Quick, Rollo, to the workbench. We must construct a torpedo.
The warden knew that something was up when the submarine did not go away, so he promptly put in a collect call to the nearest mounted police post.
And I'm sure Inspector Fenwick would like to hear all about it. He's taking a bath right now, but you hold on and I'll... Phone call for you, Inspector.
Oh, drat. Just as I was about to sink the Lusitania. Give it to me, Do-Right.
The Mountie who almost electrocuted his commanding officer is our dauntless hero, Dudley Do-Right.
Your bathwater must be tepid, sir. You turned blue for a second.
Do-Right, you're a blithering blatherskite.
Why, Inspector, I'm shocked.
You're shocked? Here, take this phone call and tell me what he wants. I've got a naval engagement on my hands.
It took Dudley 3 hours to get all the information.
A submarine in the prison yard, eh?
Sir, you mentioned that a Mountie acting undercover could get into the prison and expose the whole thing.
Sir?
I know just the man.
Who?
You.
Me?
Yes, you have experience behind you, sir. Besides, it's my turn to use the tub.
As usual, Dudley was wrong. It was his horse's turn. So our hero left for Elevenworth, and in less time than it takes to tell, was in conference with the warden.
Well, I must admit, Constable, your plan is brilliant.
Of course it is. I shall pretend I am a criminal and share his cell.
What about your uniform? Won't he suspect?
Suspect what?
You're right. Good hunting, Do-Right.
Oh, I'm not going hunting, Warden. I'm just going into...
Good luck, Do-Right.
Under escort, Dudley went to cell 506 and took his place next to Whiplash and Rollo.
Good afternoon, fellow cons.
Egad, unless my beady eyes have gone back on me, that is a creature named Do-Right. But I must make sure. What did they send you up for, stranger?
Pickpocketing, sir. You might say I'm up for grabs.
That's Do-Right, and we must get rid of him. Hand me the torpedo.
But before Whiplash could strike, the skies blackened and a torrential downpour cascaded into the prison.
It's the monsoon, Chief. We can lay him out of here.
Using Dudley as a battering ram, Whiplash smashed through the wall.
In the immortal words of Frank McHugh, anger's away! You take the torpedo, Rollo, whilst I exterminate Lorna Doone here.
You can't exterminate me, Whiplash, but I have gone stir-crazy.
It was true, most men felt the effects of prison life life after years of servitude, but Dudley was not most men.
I am Lorna Doone.
Whiplash, Rollo, the torpedo, and Dudley waded through the knee-deep waters and got aboard the sub.
You in the sub, come ashore or we'll open fire. They seen us, boss.
Curses, another minute and we'd be over the wall. Lorna.
Yes, Skipper.
Fire a torpedo through the main gate. Dudley was not himself. Dudley was never himself, or else he would never have done what he did.
He's putting the torpedo in backweights.
No one's that dumb.
The torpedo was fired into the submarine. That's when the highest-ranking officer in the Canadian Navy stepped into the yard.
It's Admiral Dewey Dare.
What's going on in here?
We've just put down a prison break.
Prison break? This is a submarine base, and you've just destroyed our biggest sub.
I thought this was Elevenworth Prison.
Elevenworth was condemned 30 years ago.
The warden got 20 years for subversive activities. He, Whiplash, Rollo, and Dudley all shared the same cell. But they weren't alone.
What are you doing here, Inspector?
I got 10 years for sinking the Lusitania.
What about my horse?
He's on probation.
While our adventure in England is rapidly approaching a dismal climax, Bullwinkle, you'll recall, had to spend 1 week inside Abominable Manor or forfeit a £1 million note inheritance.
But Boris got other plans.
Yes, the dastardly villain built a do-it-himself rocket ship.
It looks nice, but what's it for?
It's for heroes. All we got do is lure squirrel inside. Moose follows, we slam door, send boat to moon.
It looked like the plan couldn't fail. Thus, at dinner that evening...
Eat your soup, Rock, or it'll get hot.
Unfortunately, that soup contained an overdose of knockout drops. 2 sips later...
Poor Rock. He's all Tommy Tuckered out.
Following Boris's untimely suggestion, Bullwinkle carried Rocky upstairs into what he thought was a bedroom, but what was in reality the rocket ship.
Listen, strike is clocking 12. Lawyer is due here any episode. And soon as I pull lever, Moose and Squirrel are on their way to moon.
Pleasant dreams, Rock.
Boris, Moose is getting out.
No, he's getting in.
And just as we closed, Boris prepared to launch our boys skyward.
Here goes something.
What gives with rocket?
I don't know. It should blast off.
But it couldn't, not with Bullwinkle leaning against the brake.
Moose, would you please not lean against brake?
Yes, you spoiling plans.
I wasn't leaning against the brake.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, no, I'm not.
He's right, Boris.
What do you mean he's right? He's leaning against brake.
Too darn much noise in here.
With that, Bullwinkle picked up Rocky and exited the rocket. Naturally, with a brake release, the rocket took off.
He was not.
He was.
The front door opened just as the clock struck 12.
Those were the longest 12 chimes I ever heard.
Ah, the Earl of Crankcase.
Oh, what's going on, Bullwinkle?
Glad you woke up. It's the end of the story. You get the girl, I get the money.
There's just one thing. I must take one more look at your foot to check the Rue Britannia inscription.
Then I get the £1 million note, right?
Precisely.
You can imagine everyone surprised to see that the inscription was no longer there.
Bullwinkle, it's gone.
Well, sure it's gone. It never lasts more than a week.
And Bullwinkle told them how, after he took a shower, he stepped onto his bath mat, made by the Rue Britannia Bath Mat Company, Peoria, Illinois.
You mean the printing came off on your foot?
Yeah, cheap mats.
But this means you're not the Earl of Crankcase.
Yes, and it also means that we get the inheritance.
They did get it, and it was a £1 million note, a £1 million promissory note.
Good heavens. According to this, our dear uncle borrowed £1 million from the Bank of England.
Yes, and you chaps must pay it back.
What bitter irony. Filcher, Boucher, and Jay were forced to work in a local garage, draining, of all things, crankcases.
Cheer up, chaps. At £1 a week, we'll have it paid off in 1,000,000 weeks.
As for Boris and Natasha, they were last seen orbiting along the Milky Way.
I tell you, Moose was not leaning on brake.
You may be right.
Rocky and Bullwinkle booked passage on the first boat leaving for home.
Boy, am I glad that's over.
And you know something? I'd just rather be plain old me than all the earls in the world.
Sure was funny how that bath mat inscription fooled us.
Yeah, but what's funnier is the one on my other foot. That one never comes off. See?
Oh, no!
Be with us next time for further adventures of Rocky the Flying Squirrel.
Tonight, Clubhouse 90 presents She Can't Pay the Rent, written and directed by Ingmar Bedinoff. Bullwinkle, is dress rehearsal already. Why can't you remember lines?
I remember the lines, okay? It's them pesky words that's giving me trouble.
Well, maybe if you ran through the part yourself, Ingmar, then Bullwinkle might remember it better.
Say, it's a pretty good idea. Let's run through it. Places. Action.
Is cold. No food for baby. No fuel for fire. Come in.
I've come to collect rent.
But I can't pay it.
But you must pay rent.
You see how tricky them lines are?
But I have no money.
Well, maybe we can make arrangement. What do you say, Toots?
Oh, cruel fate. Oh, woe is me.
I'll pay the rent.
Curses foiled again. All right, you got it, Bullwinkle?
Sure.
Okay, from the top.
He's cold. No food for baby. No fuel for fire. No fuel. No fuel. What have you come for?
Well, I heard you was out of fuel, so I brought some. And some baby food, too. Googie, 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 googie.
Cut it out!
Didn't you come to collect rent?
Oh, yeah, I come to collect the rent.
But I can't pay the rent.
Well, that's okay. Forget it.
I'll pay the rent.
He went the other way.
Mr. Villain, sir, the rent.
Boo, boo, boo!